Everyone, in today's video we shall study or we shall discuss about the different topics which are given in the second chapter of your history. It's about from trade to territory. What is the meaning of trade to territory is, the British, they came to our country as businessmen. They came mainly for the purpose of business, that is trade, and slowly and steadily by different policies they started to occupy different places of our country, and then they became the ruler of our country. That means from trade they occupied the territories and they became the ruler. The company establishes power. Here company means the East India Company that we are going to study in this chapter. So the first topic that we are going to discuss today is East India Company comes. The East India Company, it was the first business company of Europe which came to India for the purpose of trade. Now question comes, how it came, who gave it permission to trade with the East? These things I have tried to show you. In 1600, in the year of 1600 AD, the East India Company acquired a charter from the ruler of England, Queen Elizabeth I. So it is given here, see, in the year 1600, the East India Company, it got one charter. Charter means you can say one royal order. The meaning of charter, royal order, and it was given by the then ruler of England, who was Queen Elizabeth I. And what was written in the charter? Granting it the sole right to trade with the East. According to this charter, the East India Company got the sole right. Sole right means it was the only one company to get the order of trade with the East, the Eastern countries like ours. According to this charter, no other trading group in England could compete with the East India Company, and it was clearly mentioned in the charter that only East India Company could come to India or the Eastern countries for trade, and no other trading group could come to India. Though the charter could not prevent other European companies, but the East India Company was the most powerful. No doubt it was mentioned in the charter that the other European companies, they could not come and they could not compete the East India Company, but it could not prevent the other companies. Dutch, Portuguese, they also came, but among all the different powers, we can say the East India Company, it was the most powerful, and thus the East India Company, it comes to our country for the purpose of trade. The second topic is here, East India Company begins trade in Bengal. The place where the East India Company first establishes its trading relation or it started trade was Bengal. The first English factory was set up on the banks of the river Hooghly in 1651. Hooghly, it's one name of river, and even we can say it's the name of one district in Bengal. In the year of 1651, I already told you that the East India Company, it got the charter in the year of 1600. So after 50 years of getting the order or the charter, in 1651 the company, it established their first factory on the bank of the river Hooghly in 1651. This was the base from where the company's traders operated. You can say this factory, which was set up on the bank of the river Hooghly, was their base, and from here the traders, they spread all over the country for the matter of business. Later on, Aurangzeb, Aurangzeb, he was the last Mughal ruler, you can say. Aurangzeb issued a farman. Farman means, again we can say, royal order. The order which are generally given by the royal person like the king or the queens, and it granted the right to trade duty free. According to this farman which was granted by Aurangzeb, the East India Company were given trade duty free. The meaning of trade duty free means they need not to pay any type of taxes for the business. But officials of the company who were carrying on private trade on the side were expected to pay tax. This trade duty free or the tax was exempted only for the East India Company, not for the private businessmen, but the different other officials of the company who were carrying on private trade, they were involved in the East India Company as well as they were carrying their own trade. They were expected to pay the tax, but when these officials, they refused to pay the tax, different types of problems were created. So that's about the East India Company, how it begins its trade in Bengal. Now comes how trade led to battles. I already told you just before some time that when these officials, East India Company officials, they refused to pay the tax, automatically problems were created, and that was the main beginning of the different battles between the Indians and the British. After the death of Aurangzeb, the Bengal Nawabs like Murshid Quali Khan and Alivardi Khan refused to grant the company concessions, denied it any right to mint coins, demanded large tributes, and stopped it from extending its fortification. Aurangzeb, he exempted the company from paying the tax. But after the death of Aurangzeb, the other rulers or the Nawabs of Bengal like Murshid Quali Khan, you can see the picture of Murshid Quali Khan, and Alivardi Khan, here is the picture of Alivardi Khan, you can see rulers like them, they refused to grant the company concessions, any type of concessions or facilities they refused to give the company. Even they denied it any right to mint coins. Before these rulers, Murshid Quali Khan or Alivardi Khan, the company, they were making the coins, but now they denied the company the right to mint coins, means the company did not have any right to make the coins. Also, they demanded large tributes, huge money was demanded from the company. They stopped it from extending its fortification. The company, they were not allowed to make the fort. They were not allowed to extend their fortification. The company on its part declared that the unjust demands were ruining the trade. Now, when the rulers like Murshid Quali Khan or Alivardi Khan, they were demanding huge tributes, they were not giving any concession, even they stopped the company from extending its fortification. The company said because of all these things the trade was ruining, the trade could not be expanded, and trade could flourish only if the duties were removed. The company demanded that the duties, the taxes should be removed so that the trade could be flourished. The conflicts led to confrontations and finally resulted in the famous Battle of Plassey. And because of this conflict, the main reason of conflict was the demand of the Bengal Nawabs and the refusal of the East India Company officials. Because of these confrontations, we can say different types of battles were created, and which finally resulted in the famous Battle of Plassey. About the Battle of Plassey, I am going to explain you later. Well, now we are going to discuss about the Battle of Plassey. Plassey is the name of one place. The battle which was fought at the place Plassey was known as the Battle of Plassey. It was fought in 1757. The Battle of Plassey, it was fought in the year of 1757. And the main two characters of the Battle of Plassey was Robert Clive, as you can see the picture of Robert Clive here, and Siraj Dowlah. Siraj Dowlah was the ruler or the Nawab at that time. The soldiers of Robert Clive and the soldiers of Siraj Dowlah, they met at Plassey and they fought the battle which was known as the Battle of Plassey, and it was fought in the year of 1757. One main reason for the defeat of the Nawab was that the forces led by Mir Jafar never fought the battle, and in this battle Robert Clive, he won the battle and he defeated Siraj Dowlah. And behind the defeat of Siraj Dowlah, one of the main reason was that Mir Jafar, he was one of the general of Siraj Dowlah, but Mir Jafar, he never fought the battle, means he gave the side of Robert Clive, and that's why Siraj Dowlah was defeated. When Siraj Dowlah asked the company to stop meddling in the political affairs and to pay the revenue, the company did not accept. This was the main reason behind the Battle of Plassey. Siraj Dowlah, he asked the company to stop meddling with the political affairs of its state. The East India Company, it was meddling, it was trying to interfere into the political affairs of Siraj Dowlah's dominion, and Siraj Dowlah asked them to stop it, and even Siraj Dowlah asked to pay the revenue, but the company did not accept. The company, they continued to meddle in the political affairs as well as they did not pay the revenue. So the Nawab attacked the factory at Kasim Bazar, and because of this reason Siraj Dowlah became angry, and along with all his soldiers he went to the factory at Kasim Bazar. Disarmed all Englishmen, all the weapons of the Englishmen were taken, blockaded English ships. All the ships were also blocked by the army of Siraj-Dowlah. Then he marched to Calcutta to establish control over company's fort. After capturing the factory at Kasim Bazar, now the army of Siraj-Dowlah along with him went to Calcutta, and they wanted to control over the company's fort at Calcutta. This was the main reason behind the battle. It was the first major victory the company won in India, and we can say in the year of 1651 the East India Company came to our country, and from 1651 up to 1757 this battle of Plassey, it was the first important battle which was won by the company or by the British, and that's why it is also known as the Battle of Independence, or the first battle that the British won in India. After this battle, in 1765, the Mughal emperor gave the Diwani right to the company. Again, the Battle of Plassey was over. Now, in the year of 1765, the Mughal emperor gave the Diwani right. About the Diwani right, we shall be discussing. It is there in the next chapter of your history book. Just let me tell you what is the meaning of this. Diwani right to the company, which allowed them to use the vast revenue resources of Bengal. This Diwani right, it allowed the East India Company to use the revenue resources, the tax, which is a government property. It was given in the hand of the British. That means now the British, they could use the revenue or the tax of our country to purchase the different things of our country and to take it to their own country for selling in high price. That's about the Battle of Plassey. You should also know one more thing, that the British, they did not directly attack our country. First of all, what they did, they used different types of policies, and through those policies the British, they captured or conquered different parts of our country. And among all those policies, we shall be discussing one by one. One of the policy was subsidiary alliance. What is the meaning of subsidiary alliance? The company used different policies to extend their role. As I already told you that the company did not directly attack any parts of the country. They took the help of different types of policies. One such policy was subsidiary alliance. According to the terms of this policy, Indian rulers were not allowed to have their independent armed forces. See what the British said, that the Indian rulers, they could not keep their independent armed forces. Means for their protection they could not keep any type of arms. They were supposed to be protected by the company. No doubt they could not keep their own armed forces, but they will be given protection. They will be protected by the company's army. But for this protection the Nawabs had to pay. But when the company would give them protection, the Nawabs, they had to pay some money to the company for this protection. If any ruler failed to make the payment, parts of the territory was taken as penalty. See how cunning the British were. First of all, they said the Indian rulers, they could not keep the armed forces. They would be protected by the company's army, but for that the Indian rulers, they have to pay some money. And if any Indian ruler, they fail to make the payment, then parts of their territory would be taken as penalty, as fine. So by this policy also, the British, they conquered different parts of our country. For example, the Nawab of Oudh was to give over half of his territory in the year 1801. The Nawab of Oudh was protected by the subsidiary forces. He could not pay the money to the company, and that's why more than half of his territory was taken as penalty in the year of 1801. Like that, different other places also were captured by the British through the policy of subsidiary alliance. Now we are going to study about the last topic of today's video. We are going to study about Tipu Sultan. I hope you have heard about Tipu Sultan. He was popularly known as the Tiger of Mysore. In class 7 social you have already got that Tipu Sultan, he was the ruler of Mysore. His father's name was Hyder Ali, and once he killed one tiger with his own hand, and that's why he was given the name Tiger of Mysore. We can say Tipu Sultan, he was one very famous, very popular Indian ruler who never sided the British. He fought many battles with the British. Tipu Sultan was a son of Hyder Ali. Hyder Ali, he was also one very famous, very brave ruler who ruled in Mysore, and after Hyder Ali, his son Tipu Sultan became the ruler, and he ruled Mysore from the year 1782 up to 1799. This time period was ruled by Tipu Sultan. When Tipu Sultan was ruling, at that time, different things like sandalwood, pepper, cardamom, these things, they were in huge demand in the European market, or they were very profitable things for the East India Company. But in the year of 1785, Tipu Sultan, he stopped the export of sandalwood, pepper, cardamom, etc. All these things were stopped, were not exported to the British. These things were not sold because Tipu Sultan, he stopped it in the year of 1785. Even he disallowed local merchants from trading with the company. The local merchants who were in trade relation with the East India Company, they were also not allowed to continue their trade with the East India Company. 4 wars were fought with Mysore. When Tipu Sultan was ruling at that time, 4 wars were fought by the British with Mysore. The first one was fought in the year of 1767 to 69. The second war was fought in the year of 1780 to 84. The third battle was fought in the year 1790 to 92, and in the last battle, the Battle of Seringapatam, it was the capital of Mysore, or it was the capital of Tipu Sultan. And in the last battle, in the battle which was fought in the year of 1799, the company won. The company won, and Tipu Sultan was killed. That means in the first 3 battles, Tipu Sultan was not defeated, but in the last battle in the year 1799, Tipu Sultan, he was defeated by the company and he was killed by the British. So that's all about today's video. The chapter is not yet over. I have explained half of the chapter. Rest of the chapter will be explained in your next video. You need to read the chapter, underline the important points. If any doubt is there, you can get it cleared. Now this is the time for your homework. Here 4 questions I have given you. First one, write something about the Royal Charter. Here Royal Charter means the charter which was issued by Queen Elizabeth I. You have to write few sentences about it. Name few European powers which came to trade with the East. East India Company, it already we have got. Except the East India Company, some other companies also came to India for trade. Those companies' name you need to write down. It is there in your history book. If you read the chapter, you will get it. Write a short note on the Battle of Plassey. It was already explained. From there, you have to make the answer by yourself. And the last one is, write a few words about Tipu Sultan. We discussed about Tipu Sultan. You have to write few words about him. So that's about the homework. Complete it in time and send to me. Thank you very much.